Root to tip. These expert hair care tips were brought to you by Aveeno Hair Care. For a soothed scalp and healthy looking hair, find your botanical blend.
Now in 2021 and 22, we've seen trends like embracing your grey hair and having a scalp care routine blowing up online. So what does it take to have healthy hair and a healthy scalp? Well, here to tell us all is trichologist Carol Johnson. How are you, Carol?
Hello. I'm very good, Sinead.
Well, I'm delighted you're here because it is the thing that everybody's talking about, right?
Yeah.
So we put a survey out. We asked our viewers online what they, figured about all of this. Would they embrace their grey hair? And of the 759 people we asked, 45% actually, which is a massive amount.
It's huge.
So they would be up for embracing the grey hair. And obviously, we've seen the celebrities do it, which helps as well.
Yeah.
We've got the likes of Jamie Lee Curtis.
The lovely grey bob.
Yeah, a nice short
and a lot of
pixie
women
cut.
wearing long
Exactly.
grey. Is
Andy McDowell has got the long grey going on, and
Curls,
she looks phenomenal. Like, her hair's just phenomenal anyway, but even in the grey, it just looks so beautiful.
Grey, yeah.
Do you think that helps people kind of get on board with the idea?
Absolutely, yes. And during the lockdown, I suppose a lot of people couldn't get out to the salon, couldn't colour their hair.
Exactly.
And it became grey, whether they wanted it to or not, and they just left it and liked it and embraced it. So.
Sometimes when we're left with no choice, and you kind of have to
Yeah.
embrace it, and then you realise, actually, this works for me, it suits me.
Yeah.
What's the difference then between naturally grey hair and my version, which is, a lot of bleach?
Yes.
Well, I love it, but
well, you said it, bleach. So to have grey hair, there's hydrogen peroxide within your hair, so that's what makes it grey. So the hair is sort of bleaching itself from the inside out. Pigment is lost, or pigment cells die as we get older. So then if you're artificially making your hair grey, you're adding hydrogen peroxide, so you're adding more, so you're doubling up on it. So it's drier, so you need to be conditioning. Yours is great, nice, shiny.
I try and mind it.
So you have to do more with it. You have to get in the omega, the good stuff into your diet, the oats into the well-formulated conditioning products are great, full of omega. So doing a little bit more, because it's more prone to being dry, and grey hair is going to be coarser, wirier, things like that.
So the texture is different. Okay, from what you might be used to, whether it's like that, you diet or otherwise.
Yeah.
Some people might assume it's better to crop your hair short if it's going to be grey. Would you agree?
Well, it's a personal preference. What I do like to see is split ends being blunted off, because they'll travel up. And if they travel up the cuticle of the hair, it's not going to be smooth, and it'll be prone to breakage then from all the other things we do. So heating, styling, brushes, implements, things that we use on our hair will damage the outer cuticle.
So it's all about minding your hair.
Minding your hair.
What's the best way to do that then? What would be your top tips for hair care for grey hair?
For grey hair? Well, again, conditioning, okay? A little bit of oil.
Okay.
There's no harm. Leaving a little bit of oil in the ends overnight. Sleeping on something like silk, which is a personal favourite, right?
Yes.
Because it's a protein, and that's what your hair is. Great for your scalp as well.
I actually have a pillowcase version, and they say it's great for your skin as well. So
yes.
Between the skin and the hair now.
Yeah.
I do, of course, expect to wake up completely different, which doesn't happen, but it's fabulous.
Well, don't we all, I was going to say, right? But silk is good. Silk scrunchies, things like this. Anything that smooths the outer cuticle. So really what you're trying to do, and you can do that with your hands. Massaging when you're in the shower, no friction action, the temperature of the water being warm, and having a day off from heat, a day off from doing anything with your hair.
And a lot of people use, myself included, like silver shampoos, those purple tone
so they're
shampoos.
Toning. Okay, so
is it a case that you can use them too much?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're not hugely hydrating.
Okay.
They'll brighten us up, of course, but if the hair is already a bit parched, so less is best.
Okay. Well, I
in the
need
winter
it,
time,
less is more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So save it for the day when you want to go out and shine, right? So you're going someplace and use it that day. Don't use it on the day when you're doing very little.
Okay.
Really is what
So that's the
never
hair.
an everyday hair.
Not every day. I wouldn't wash my hair every day anyway, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Scalp care. What can we do to mind the scalp? Because it's so important. It's obviously,
huge.
Yeah.
Scalp stimulation, which we can do with our hands, which we can do with a hairbrush that is not damaging. So if we can do this with the prongs, it's not going to hurt, it's not going to damage, but
so
it'll
you would
create
suggest kind of almost
vasodilation.
massaging your head with the brush?
Exactly. Again, coming back to something that has oats in it, particularly during the winter months, when the weather is, drying out the hair, drying out the scalp. They're anti-inflammatory, which again, back to the scalp, and inflammatory type of scalp conditions like psoriasis or seborrheic dermatitis, the eczemas, they respond really well to the milky residue. So you're helping the lipid mantle.
And it sounds like a soothing kind of a product,
yes,
doesn't it?
Yeah,
you can almost feel it.
You can feel it
as you're talking about it.
Yeah.
Is there a routine that you need to maintain for your scalp and your hair coming into the winter? I know you mentioned like lay off the hot tools a bit.
Lay off the hot tools.
What else can we do?
What else? Well, they coexist. So healthy scalp, healthy hair. Right? So if you're using a shampoo, for example, that you think that's drying out my hair, like the toning one, stop it.
Okay.
Vitamin D, great. Winter months, so important, vitamin D, because we're in around central heating. We're using heated things more styling going on than maybe in the summertime. We're a little bit kind of laissez-faire in the summertime. So conditioning is the real key, and getting it in, ingesting it as well, not just always adding it on to in-term products are great, but you've got to be doing both.
Okay, so when you say
Your
ingesting
blood.
like vitamin D, those kind of things, the supplements?
Yeah, and you can get that from salmon and mackerel as well.
Okay.
Obviously, there's less sunlight, so the supplement, particularly living in Ireland, is key. But massaging your scalp, really important. You're driving up the blood. When we become stressed, our blood drops back into the cavity of our body.
Okay.
And we get constriction of our capillaries that's feeding our hair and feeding our skin cells and overturning our scalp.
Okay.
Desquamation of your skin cells and your
Some people might think, Carl, that you shouldn't wash your hair every day. That's not what you're telling me, though, is it?
You can.
You can, you should.
can,
Okay.
yeah, but again, well-formulated products and something that's for frequent use or daily use, shampoo is fine because it's going to be softer. It'll have less parabens and sulfates and things like that. So you can.
Okay, I was under the impression that if I did, that then I'm towel drying and I'm doing all these other things that might otherwise affect my
and you
hair or scalp.
blot your hair dry. You're removing sebum, you're removing dead skin cells from your scalp, you're removing deleterious product, styling products, and your scalp needs to respire. So when it breathes, it's healthy. Then your hair is healthy.
They sound like things that are manageable, which is great.
They're easy
when people
things.
hear, scalp routine, when you've got your skincare routine, you've got so many routines or things to keep
Already,
on top of, or those memes like stay hydrated, do this, mind everything.
But
it's
you know what
easy
I
to
tend
do.
to say is you wouldn't not wash your face regularly
of course.
or clean your skin. This is the same mantle of flesh, your scalp. Okay. Just this one has more hair going on.
There's more work going on in this one.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to show people at home this as well, because I know you held it up quite quickly. But these silk hair bands, or hair bobbles, sorry, they're very good because even if you just want to wear them, not just to bed, like you're talking out and about.
Adornments, they're nice, they look well, different colours, but the silk is great. Again, it's a protein, your hair is protein. It's good on the scalp. Anything that's not putting too much tension on your hair is not cutting into the cuticle like elastic does.
Yes. Okay.
So they're wonderful.
So silk products, massage the scalp, you can wash your hair loads, just use the right products so that when you're doing it every day.
You know, and keep your scalp.
Mind yourself.
Mind yourself.
I love it, Carl. Thanks so much. Some great tips
Sinead.
and information there, which I've learned so much from. That's for sure. And I hope you embrace the grey, lads. I'm paying for it, but if you can get it for free, go for it by all means. Now, if you want to find out any more information about what we mentioned, it's on our Facebook or Instagram with supports listed there.
From root to tip, these expert hair care tips were brought to you by Aveeno Hair Care. For a soothed scalp and healthy looking hair, find your botanical blend.